Beneath endless waves lies a world unlike any other, a planet entirely submerged, teeming with life that defies imagination. A crew of explorers ventures into its depths, unaware they are not alone. Here, intelligence thrives in forms humanity could never predict, and survival depends on understanding the incomprehensible. What secrets do these waters hold? And what price must be paid to uncover them? Dive into an aquatic odyssey where every ripple hides a mystery and every shadow conceals a threat. Don't miss this mind-bending journey. Subscribe now for more thrilling tales from the unknown. The starship descended through thick atmospheric layers, its hull shimmering faintly as it adjusted to the pressure of entering an alien world. Below stretched an unbroken expanse of liquid blue, a planet almost entirely covered by oceans so vast they seemed infinite. The crew had studied preliminary scans during their approach, but nothing could have prepared them for the sheer scale of what lay beneath. Towering underwater mountains rose like ancient sentinels, while trenches plunged into abyssal darkness deeper than anything Earth's seas could offer. Currents swirled unpredictably, carrying traces of bioluminescent organisms that painted fleeting patterns across the water's surface. It was beautiful, yet unsettling, a reminder of how little they truly understood about this place. As the ship settled into orbit, instruments began feeding data into the mainframe. The initial readings confirmed what they already suspected. Life flourished here in abundance. But there was something else, an anomaly detected deep within the oceanic core, pulsating faintly with energy signatures unlike anything recorded before. The team debated whether it was natural or artificial, though no one dared voice the possibility aloud just yet. Their mission was clear: to explore, document, and analyze, but the weight of responsibility pressed heavily on each member. They were pioneers, stepping into the unknown, but also intruders venturing into territory claimed long ago by beings far older than humanity itself. The anticipation was palpable. Each crew member felt the gravity of their task, knowing they carried not only the hopes of their civilization, but also the potential consequences of their actions. Would they return with knowledge that would redefine humanity's place in the universe? Or would they inadvertently spark conflict with entities whose motives and ethics were beyond comprehension? The questions lingered, unanswered, as the ship completed its orbital insertion. Preparations for the descent began immediately. The submersible craft gleamed under harsh artificial lights inside the hangar bay, its sleek design optimized for navigating extreme pressures and conditions. Every piece of equipment underwent rigorous checks, from oxygen reserves to communication arrays designed to penetrate miles of water. Scientists pored over maps generated from orbital scans, marking potential points of interest along the planned route. Yet despite all the meticulous planning, uncertainty lingered in the air. This wasn't merely another research expedition. It was an encounter with the unfamiliar, a plunge into realms where human logic might falter. When the moment came, the team boarded silently, each person lost in private thoughts. The hatch sealed shut with a hiss, locking them away from the safety of the mothership above. As the submersible detached and began its slow descent, the ocean swallowed them whole. At first, sunlight filtered weakly through the upper layers, casting dancing shadows on the cabin walls. Schools of small fish darted past the reinforced windows, their scales glinting like shards of glass. Deeper still, the light faded, giving way to an eerie twilight zone where strange creatures drifted lazily, their forms illuminated by faint internal glow. Some resembled jellyfish. Others looked like living sculptures carved from coral, but none matched anything documented in terrestrial ecosystems. The descent felt eternal. The hum of the submersible's engines blended with the occasional crackle of static from the communication system. Instruments blinked steadily, tracking changes in salinity, acidity, and electromagnetic activity. The crew monitored everything with rapt attention, their eyes glued to screens displaying cascading streams of data. Outside, the environment grew increasingly alien. Strange appendages protruded from rocky outcrops, waving gently as if beckoning the intruders closer. Glowing orbs floated aimlessly, their purpose unknown. It was as if the ocean itself was alive, watching, waiting. Hours passed as the submersible continued its downward journey, passing through zones increasingly hostile to human survival. The temperature dropped steadily, and the pressure mounted until even the most advanced alloys groaned under the strain. Instruments blinked steadily, tracking changes in salinity, acidity, and electromagnetic activity. Then, suddenly, the anomaly appeared, a massive structure looming out of the blackness below. Its shape defied description, neither organic nor mechanical in appearance, but somehow both at once. Tentacle-like appendages spiraled outward, pulsing rhythmically with bursts of iridescent color. Sensors struggled to make sense of it, readings fluctuating wildly, as if reality itself bent around the object. The crew exchanged uneasy glances, instinctively leaning closer to the observation panels. Whatever this thing was, it radiated power, a quiet hum resonating through the craft's frame. One scientist suggested it might be some form of alien technology, perhaps a beacon left behind by a civilization long gone. Another theorized it could be a naturally occurring phenomenon, a geological formation imbued with unique properties. Either way, it demanded closer inspection. With careful maneuvering, the submersible drew nearer, revealing intricate patterns etched across its surface. These designs seemed deliberate, almost hieroglyphic, hinting at purpose rather than randomness. The structure loomed larger with each passing moment, its pulsating glow casting an ethereal light across the cabin. Shadows danced eerily, distorting the shapes of the crew members as they leaned forward, transfixed. Questions swirled in their minds. Was this a relic of an ancient civilization, or something actively maintained by the beings dwelling in these depths? Could it be a monument, a temple, or perhaps even a prison? The possibilities were endless, each more tantalizing and terrifying than the last. Closer examination revealed movement, not from the structure itself, but from entities surrounding it. Large shapes glided gracefully through the water, their outlines indistinct in the dim light. Bioluminescent markings traced paths along their bodies, shifting colors in mesmerizing patterns. They moved with intelligence, coordinating seamlessly as if engaged in a silent conversation. Each creature bore similarities to cephalopods found on Earth, yet their size and complexity set them apart. Tentacles flowed like liquid silk, tipped with delicate sensory organs capable of detecting minute vibrations in the water. Eyes larger than dinner plates gazed curiously at the intruding vessel, reflecting faint luminescence back at the observers. Fascination mingled with unease among the crew. Were these beings guardians of the structure? Or did they simply share its environment, drawn by whatever energies emanated from within? Whatever the case, their presence confirmed one undeniable truth. Intelligence existed here, thriving in ways humanity had scarcely imagined. The implications were staggering. For centuries, humans assumed themselves unique in their capacity for thought and emotion. Now, faced with evidence to the contrary, humility replaced arrogance. Questions flooded their minds. How did these creatures communicate? Did they possess culture, art, or philosophy? Most importantly, would they view visitors as friends or foes? The creatures' movements became more deliberate as the submersible approached. Several circled the craft, their glowing patterns shifting in response to its presence. It was as if they were studying the intruders, weighing their intentions. The crew remained still, holding their breath as they observed this silent exchange. Every flicker of light, every ripple in the water, seemed laden with meaning. Further analysis revealed astonishing details about the creature's physiology. Their skin functioned as a dynamic display, capable of projecting images and symbols directly onto the surrounding water. Patterns shifted constantly, conveying information in a language beyond verbal comprehension. Researchers hypothesized that sound played little role in their communication, relying instead on visual and tactile cues transmitted through water currents. Hydrophones picked up subtle vibrations, suggesting a sophisticated system of echolocation refined over millennia. Even more intriguing was their apparent ability to manipulate local magnetic fields, aligning themselves with unseen forces guiding their movements. These discoveries only deepened the mystery. What drove such evolution? Was it purely environmental adaptation, or had external influences shaped their development? The structure loomed ever larger in their field of vision, its pulsating glow now synchronized with the creature's glowing patterns. Could it serve as a nexus, a central hub facilitating interaction between species? If so, what role did it play in maintaining balance within this fragile ecosystem? Answers remained elusive, obscured by layers of complexity far beyond human understanding. Despite their advanced tools and knowledge, the crew felt like children peering into a kaleidoscope, dazzled but unable to grasp the underlying mechanics. The realization dawned slowly. They were witnessing a society unlike any other. These beings communicated not through words but through light, motion, and resonance. Their interactions hinted at a collective consciousness, a shared intelligence that transcended individuality. Such a concept challenged everything the crew knew about life and sentience. Deciding to establish contact, the team activated a series of pre-programmed signals designed to mimic basic mathematical sequences. Light pulses emitted from external projectors bathed the area in rhythmic flashes, intended to convey simplicity and non-aggression. Initially, reactions were cautious. Several creatures retreated momentarily, vanishing into the shadows cast by the structure. Others approached cautiously, tentacles extended as if probing the intentions behind the intrusion. Slowly, trust, or at least curiosity, began to take root. One particularly bold individual ventured close enough to touch the submersible's outer shell. Its skin rippled with vibrant hues, forming patterns resembling fractals. Observers noted a correlation between these displays and the original signal sequence, indicating recognition. Encouraged, the crew repeated the process, adding slight variations to test responsiveness. To their amazement, the creature responded in kind, replicating altered sequences nearly flawlessly. Communication, however rudimentary, had been established. Excitement buzzed through the cabin, tempered only by lingering caution. Interactions held immense potential, but equally significant risks. Misinterpretation could lead to unintended consequences, jeopardizing both parties involved. The exchange grew more complex with each attempt. Patterns evolved into intricate mosaics, conveying concepts far beyond simple numbers. The crew marveled at the speed with which the creatures adapted, their intelligence evident in every gesture. It was clear that these beings possessed a level of cognition that rivaled, if not surpassed, that of humans. Over time, exchanges grew more complex. The crew introduced new concepts using combinations of geometric shapes and numerical progressions. In return, the creatures demonstrated feats of spatial reasoning far exceeding expectations. They manipulated nearby debris, arranging fragments into precise formations mirroring projected equations. Such demonstrations hinted at abstract thinking, challenging preconceived notions about cognition tied solely to humanoid morphology. Simultaneously, efforts focused on deciphering the structure's purpose intensified. Closer inspection revealed openings leading inward, framed by smooth edges reminiscent of polished stone. Venturing inside proved daunting, requiring modifications to ensure safe passage. Once accomplished, the interior astonished everyone. Chambers lined with crystalline formations refracted ambient light into dazzling spectrums. Pools filled with viscous fluid occupied central spaces, connected by channels resembling veins coursing through living tissue. Devices embedded within walls pulsed softly, emitting low-frequency tones harmonizing with external vibrations. Everything pointed toward functionality intertwined with aesthetics, blending utility with beauty in seamless unity. The deeper they explored, the more apparent it became that this structure was not merely a relic but a living entity. Its walls seemed to breathe, expanding and contracting in sync with the rhythms of the ocean. The crew felt a strange connection, as if the structure itself was aware of their presence. Exploration uncovered additional marvels. Within secondary chambers rested artifacts unlike anything encountered previously. Smooth orbs floated serenely, suspended midair without visible support. Touch elicited responses, soft chimes echoing softly, followed by holographic projections displaying scenes of aquatic splendor. Landscapes unfolded before awestruck eyes, depicting diverse ecosystems flourishing under varied conditions. Creatures danced across virtual waters, interacting peacefully amidst lush kelp forests and towering coral reefs. Scenes transitioned smoothly, offering glimpses into cycles of growth, reproduction, and eventual decay, all integral components sustaining ecological harmony. These visions served dual purposes, as records preserving historical events and instructional guides detailing sustainable practices. By studying depictions meticulously, researchers gleaned insights into societal structures governing native inhabitants. Hierarchies based on cooperation rather than dominance emerged, highlighting values starkly different from those prevalent in human cultures. The revelations continued unabated, each discovery raising new questions. What forces shaped this world? How did its inhabitants achieve such harmony? And what lessons could humanity learn from their example? The answers lay hidden within the depths, waiting to be uncovered. The deeper the crew ventured into the structure, the more they realized its purpose extended beyond mere habitation or communication. The crystalline formations lining the walls seemed to pulse in sync with the creature's bioluminescent displays outside, creating a symphony of light and vibration that resonated through the submersible. These vibrations carried information, coded messages that instruments struggled to decode, but which the crew intuitively felt were invitations rather than warnings. In one chamber, a massive orb floated at the center, suspended as if defying gravity. When approached, it emitted a soft hum, and holographic projections erupted around it, depicting scenes of cosmic significance. Stars formed and collapsed, galaxies swirled into existence, and planets emerged from primordial chaos. Among these celestial events, the oceanic planet itself appeared repeatedly, always shown cradled by waves and surrounded by glowing entities resembling the creatures they had encountered. It was clear, this world held a sacred place in the cosmos, perhaps even serving as a nexus for life across the universe. The implications were staggering. If this structure functioned as a repository of universal knowledge, then humanity's arrival might have been anticipated or even orchestrated. Were these beings custodians of a greater order, tasked with guiding civilizations toward enlightenment? Or was their role more passive, simply preserving balance without interference? The crew grappled with these questions, their awe mingling with unease. Each discovery brought them closer to understanding, yet further from certainty. As exploration continued, the team encountered another enigmatic feature: tunnels spiraling downward into darkness so profound it seemed to swallow light entirely. Venturing into these passages required specialized equipment capable of withstanding extreme pressures and temperatures. Sensors detected faint traces of energy emanating from below, suggesting something vital lay hidden within the abyssal depths. Descending into the tunnels felt like entering another dimension. The walls shimmered with phosphorescent patterns, shifting unpredictably as if alive. Strange echoes reverberated through the water, distorted voices whispering words incomprehensible to human ears. Some crew members reported feeling an inexplicable pull, as though the tunnel itself beckoned them forward. Despite the unease, curiosity drove them onward. At the end of the descent, they found themselves in a cavernous expanse filled with colossal spires rising from the seafloor. Between these spires drifted immense forms, beings larger than any they had seen before, their translucent bodies revealing intricate internal structures pulsating with radiant energy. These titans moved languidly, their presence commanding reverence. Bioluminescent markings adorned their surfaces, forming constellations that mirrored the stars above. It was as if the heavens themselves had descended into the ocean. The titanic beings reacted to the submersible's presence with surprising gentleness. They encircled the craft, their movements deliberate and unhurried. One extended a vast appendage, brushing against the vessel's hull with a tenderness that belied its size. In response, the submersible's sensors registered bursts of electromagnetic activity, accompanied by vivid flashes of color emanating from the creature's skin. These flashes coalesced into patterns reminiscent of those displayed by the smaller creatures earlier, only far more complex. It became evident that these giants served as elders or overseers, repositories of wisdom accumulated over eons. Their luminous displays conveyed narratives spanning millennia, stories of creation, destruction, and renewal. Scenes depicted ancient civilizations rising and falling, interspersed with images of ecological collapse followed by rebirth. Humanity's industrial age appeared briefly, portrayed not as progress but as disruption. The message was clear: balance must be maintained, lest chaos consume all. The crew absorbed these revelations in stunned silence. Here was a civilization that had mastered coexistence, prioritizing harmony over conquest. Their technology blended seamlessly with nature, enhancing rather than exploiting resources. Could humanity emulate such ideals, or was greed too deeply ingrained in their DNA? The question hung heavy in the air, unanswered yet impossible to ignore. Returning to the surface proved challenging, both physically and emotionally. As the submersible ascended, the crew reflected on what they had witnessed. The oceanic planet was no mere curiosity. It was a living testament to possibilities humanity had scarcely dared to dream. Yet the weight of responsibility bore down upon them. What would happen when they reported their findings? Would Earth's leaders see opportunity for growth or exploitation? Upon reaching the starship, the team transmitted data back to command, including detailed logs, recordings, and analyses. Hours passed as they awaited instructions. Finally, a message arrived: proceed cautiously, document everything, but avoid direct intervention. The directive left the crew conflicted. Caution was prudent, but neutrality felt inadequate given the stakes. This world deserved protection, not exploitation. Determined to honor the trust placed in them by the oceanic beings, the crew devised a plan. They would share their discoveries selectively, emphasizing the importance of preserving this fragile ecosystem. Perhaps, through education and advocacy, they could inspire change, not just for this planet but for humanity itself. Back aboard the mothership, preparations began for departure. The crew knew they couldn't stay indefinitely. Supplies were finite, and their mission parameters dictated eventual return. But leaving felt wrong, as though abandoning newfound allies. To ease the transition, they programmed drones to remain behind, equipped with sensors and transmitters designed to relay ongoing observations. These machines would act as silent witnesses, ensuring the planet's secrets remained guarded while allowing continued study from afar. Before departing, the crew performed one final act of goodwill. Using the submersible's projectors, they broadcast a message of gratitude, a sequence of light pulses mimicking the creature's own language. The response was immediate. Glowing patterns rippled outward, forming intricate designs that radiated warmth and acceptance. For a fleeting moment, connection transcended species, bridging gaps thought insurmountable. As the starship lifted off, the crew watched the planet shrink below, its oceans shimmering under distant sunlight. Though physically separated, they carried its essence within them, a reminder of what could be achieved when intelligence met humility. Months later, the crew returned to Earth, their minds brimming with stories of wonder and warning. Presentations captivated audiences worldwide, sparking debates about humanity's role in the cosmos. Scientists marveled at the sophistication of the oceanic beings, philosophers pondered the implications of non-human sentience, and activists championed conservation efforts inspired by the planet's harmonious ecosystem. Yet skepticism persisted. Critics dismissed claims of sentient marine life as speculative fiction, arguing that humanity's needs outweighed ethical considerations. Mining corporations eyed the planet covetously, envisioning untapped resources ripe for extraction. Faced with mounting pressure, the crew fought tirelessly to protect their discovery, leveraging media platforms and diplomatic channels to rally support. Their efforts bore fruit slowly but surely. International agreements were drafted, designating the planet as a protected zone off-limits to exploitation. Educational programs highlighted its ecological significance, fostering empathy among future generations. Though challenges remained, hope endured, a testament to the power of perseverance and shared vision. Years passed, and the memory of the oceanic planet lingered in collective consciousness. Advances in technology enabled remote exploration, allowing researchers to delve deeper into its mysteries without risking harm. Drones captured footage of thriving ecosystems, documenting interactions between species and revealing new facets of their society. For the original crew, the experience remained transformative. They often gathered to reminisce, sharing memories of luminescent depths and sentient guardians. Each recollection reinforced their belief in interconnectedness, not just among species but across worlds. Though humanity still grappled with its flaws, seeds of change had been sown. Inspired by the oceanic planet's example, efforts towards sustainability gained momentum. Renewable energy projects flourished, conservation initiatives expanded, and cultural shifts embraced cooperation over competition. As stars twinkle overhead tonight, remember the lessons learned beneath alien waves. Respect, humility, and unity are keys to unlocking boundless potential. Subscribe now to continue exploring extraordinary tales from the edge of imagination and discover how far we can go when we dare to dream together.